What's going on, guys? So in today's video I'm going to try to do a really good in-depth look at what the truck is like with these 24s and 35s, because contrary to a lot of trucks you see on Instagram and stuff, I feel like most people are probably pretty conservative with their wheels and tires that they put on their truck. So you're probably pretty interested, how does a fairly stock Silverado do with big 35s? You might have in your head that this is an absolute horrendous idea and it's going to make your fuel economy go to absolutely zero. It's going to ride like garbage and you're just not going to enjoy it, which is definitely not what you want to do when spending $3,000 to however much $1,000 on a wheel and tire setup that you're probably going to have for a pretty good while. 2018 Chevy Silverado Z71, four-wheel drive, 3-inch front leveling kit, ready lift upper control arms, 24 by 10 split 7s, 35, 12, 50, 24 Gladiator X comps. Basically with this setup you're not going to have any rubbing issues except for doing a complete 100% full turn. You're going to rub on the upper control arm, which, if we're being honest, don't be a little girl, you don't have to turn your truck 100% full turn. You're going to be fine without having to do that. Barely clear by like just you could probably slip a card through it right there on the back carpet. No problems though, we don't rub. The front is completely fine, clears no issues. This truck is basically stock. It's got a SMB cold air intake, but it's factory tune. It's got 3 08 gears, which is a little uncommon. Most of them come, at least the four-wheel drive Z71s, most of them come with the 342s. You can look up on your axle or in your door and see exactly what gear ratio you have. So as we merge onto this main highway, I guess it's a good time to talk about how the truck actually drives. So last thing you want to do, like I said, spend a bunch of money on wheels and tires only for you to not enjoy daily driving it. And this is my daily. I've put several thousand miles on these tires. I've had the truck for going on 3 years now, so basically any change that I do I'm fully aware of and I really get accustomed to how the truck is. So I guess the tires themselves, it depends on which ones you have. These Gladiators, they're all right. They're not the smoothest riding tire. You're gonna feel the road, you're gonna feel the lugs. It's just part of it. As long as you don't get one that's out of round, it's definitely livable. You hear the tires, they're pretty loud, right? They're a big aggressive mud tire. What do you expect? That's normal. But the tires themselves are pretty smooth. There's certain, speeds or whatever that are a little rougher than others. But like I said, that's going to be very dependent on different tires. So there's a good chance that my viewpoint on this is different than others because it all depends on what your driving habits are like. If you're someone that likes to hot rod around and be the fastest guy at every red light and stuff, you're probably not going to like your truck. You probably didn't like it to begin with because these, if we're being honest, these Silverados are not the fastest trucks on the road. Let's take a moment, swallow our Chevy pride, and understand our little 5.3s are not the quickest trucks on the road. It's just part of life. But with that being said, for a normal daily driver truck that you just, you drive like a normal person, it's very enjoyable. All right, let's get on here. We'll romp on it a little bit, just to get up to, I think the speed limit's 65, so. 3,500 RPM, normal acceleration, and there's the speed limit. So I'm personally pretty mindful of fuel economy, so I don't go around romping on it all the time because I hate throwing my money away at the gas pump, and I don't really have to be romping on it all the time to enjoy driving my truck. There is definitely certain RPMs and speeds at which the truck kind of does feel like a turd, and it's usually right there in that mid-range RPM. I feel the truck has good low-end RPM, or low-end power, and then I feel like it has pretty good full throttle acceleration. But sometimes I will say that mid-range between like 2,500 and 3,500, it kind of is like a dead spot. Like maybe it is a 308s with the 35s, but I feel like it kind of turns into a turd right there. And this is just me being honest with y'all because I want y'all to know what to expect. Does it make it unenjoyable to drive? Not usually, but there is some cases where you're cruising down the 4-lane and old Jim Bob next to you is pulling up a hill just fine and you're over there sounding like you're flooring it and you're just barely gaining any speed at all. So that is a little annoying sometimes for sure. But normal driving, like I said, low end, it will accelerate fine to the speed limit. And then if you do want to romp on it, it has no problem picking them up, putting them down. About 2,000 RPMs is like my normal acceleration. Like that was 2,100. It's about 2,200. We're at 33 miles an hour. It shifts down, now we're at 1,500. I'm a really chill driver, and that does, I guess when I tell people that I get what I get for fuel economy usually is a lot better than some people, and they're like, well, how in the world does your truck do that? And I'm like, well, I don't go around flooring it, because that's just not how I drive with this thing. Listen, I've had a lot of fast cars and I've got that out of my system pretty well. Now I'm pretty chill and I'm mindful of fuel economy, but I also enjoy driving my truck. So there is instances like that where I merge onto, you know, the interstate or a highway or whatever, and I romp on it, and then, you know, hey, it does fine. But there is that mid-range, I will say, that is kind of a dead zone, which is a little unfortunate, that you don't really feel when you're on stock tires. Obviously, everything when it's stock, it's kind of all catered to be like, oh, this is perfectly exactly how it is. You're not going to have any real complaints. The truck drives fine. But then when you throw big wheels and tires on there, it's going to be different. And so please, Lord Jesus, don't pull out into the road. Nice. Love that. Gotta love that. So I did somehow forget to mention about your truck having to downshift more, and that's definitely the case when you go with bigger tires. It's not going to be able to hold overdrive like it used to, and you might have to go down 2 gears rather than just 1 whenever you're going up a long steep hill or something in order to maintain your speed. It's just part of it. You got big wheels and tires. It's having to work harder, and you're just going to be doing more shifting, which that can also eat up your fuel economy if you are having to go up and down more often. So like I said, most people are probably more conservative. You got stock wheels, you throw some 33s on there, but they don't usually look big enough, especially if you go up to like a 3-inch leveling kit. Your 33s are going to look small unless you go with wide wheels. If you're on stock tires or stock wheels, they're usually going to look a little small. So a lot of people like going up to the 35. It's got a lot more beefy look, but you also don't want to completely kill the drivability and fuel economy of your truck with 35s rather than 33s, because these trucks come with like 32-inch about 32-inch tall tires. So if you just jump to a 33, it's not really that big of a noticeable difference. But when you do a big wheel or up to a 35, that's a lot more mass that has to roll over, and usually are a lot heavier tire. So that's why people are hesitant on going up to that larger tire. They don't want it to kill their performance, their fuel economy, and a lot of people don't want to rub at all. Like, I don't understand. Every truck I've ever had, I've put as big a setup as I possibly could, and that usually involves it rubbing, and it doesn't bother me. Like, you just have to know your truck. Hey, I can't turn this super sharp, so I got to swing it a little wide here. And there is certain circumstances where it really sucks, and you're like, well, I got to freaking scrub the crap out of my truck, or I'm going to go over this curb or whatever, and that's just how you have to accept it, and that's just part of having a big setup. And if you can't do that, then just stick with a smaller tire, no big deal. But most people will agree, the larger the tire you can stuff under here, the better it is going to look. So that's why people love doing it. Fuel economy definitely went down from running the 22s and the 33s, obviously. Even though the setups, I still got to do a comparison, in which you might see this before this video, I don't know. I feel like they weigh about the same, but obviously this is about 1 inch or 2 taller than those Turos. So you do have that mass that has the rollover, in which if you have 308s, it makes your gears even longer. 342s, it's going to make them longer as well. But overall, I've averaged about 15 miles per gallon, which y'all see how chill I am. I guess it all goes back to when I had my first truck. I didn't have any money for gas, and so I was always super lenient on driving. I always wanted to save as much fuel as possible because I didn't have any gas money. So I guess that's just a habit I learned, and it's stuck with me probably for the rest of my life. So I drive super chill. Like right now, we're just cruising at like literally 1,000 RPMs, because I don't, we're coming up to a light way up here, and there's no reason for me to be romping on it. So I probably do get about as good of fuel economy as you could possibly get out of these trucks. So if you do have a lead foot, yours is going to probably be like at least maybe cut in half, if not like another quarter taken off of what I get, and that's just part of it. Anyways, like I said, you romp on it, dude, it's perfectly fine. You don't have to be the fastest truck out here. That's probably not what you're going for anyways when you get a Silverado. But if you drive like that, your fuel economy is going to be absolute dump. And so 15.1 is my current average. I think that's pretty good for, a truck with big wheels and tires. Can't really complain. When I had the 33s on there, I could squeak out 17 on summer grade gas, which is, I found to be completely awesome. I absolutely love that. A full-size truck with these mods, getting that kind of fuel economy. Do I wish you could get 30? Of course. but I understand it's not going to. So 15, anything in the teens, dude. Like Mead's truck, he's got a lifted Tundra. Those things stock at like 10, and when you lift them, they get like 9. I know the F-150s can get real good fuel economy too with the 5.0, but I really don't have any complaints with this. If you can keep your foot out of it, if you do like I just did all the time, you're gonna have horrendous fuel economy, and that's just to be expected. Ooh, the white Raptor emerging on. Oof, treat me right. Needs a V8 though. So here's the big negative, and it's gonna really deter you. But I've had this complaint basically since the truck was new. It does not like towing stuff. This truck does not like pulling stuff. Thankfully for me, I really don't ever tow anything, so it's not a problem because I don't do that. If it was something that I needed to daily tow something or pretty frequently, it would be a really big problem, and I probably would not enjoy this truck. I mean, I can throw something not even that heavy on the trailer, and you really do notice it. Like, I don't like talking negative about my truck, but at the end of the day, it just flat does not like towing stuff. And I'm sure there's a lot of y'all that probably tow with your trucks, and you've experienced the frustration of it kind of struggling, like, no lie, struggling. And that might just be a direct thing for my 308s. Maybe I know the 342s will tow better. I don't know how much better, but I would assume a decent amount because it has a much steeper gear. You can really build the RPM. But for me, the way that I drive, when I hook up any kind of weight behind this thing, it's a turd, dude. Like, straight up, I'm just gonna let y'all know. So if you do plan on towing anything, I really couldn't advise you to do it. And I would honestly, if you're going to buy one of these trucks, you haven't bought one yet, I would advise you to go with as steep a gear ratio as possible, or just get ready to fork out, you know, $1,000 or $2,000, whatever it is, to swap them out. Put you some 456s in here. You'll probably kill your fuel economy, but you will be able to tow. And so that's really the only negative, dude. Like, I thoroughly enjoy driving this truck every single day. It looks great, get compliments on it all the time. But that's pretty much it. That's all the topics I think I wanted to hit. I'm gonna be swapping the truck up here shortly, so I wanted to come on here and give y'all a real, this is how the truck drives, this is how it handles 35s. Stockish for the most part. I mean, other than the cold air intake, it's basically stock, right? Obviously you can do like a tune, exhaust, or like long tubes, beneficial performance mods, and actually increase the performance and stuff. But for this truck to be performance, stock performance with 35s, you're gonna enjoy your truck. At the end of the day, I guess it really does depend on what you use your truck for and how you drive, because like I said, it could be a totally different experience for you than it is for me if you are a constant romper or you tow stuff. Aside from those two things, you're gonna have pretty similar experience to me, and I've thoroughly enjoyed it. Like I said, I've had this truck for going on 3 years now, and there's a reason why I still have it. I thoroughly enjoy it. It's an enjoyable truck to drive. It has all the nice features in here that I could ever want, and it's just nice. I just genuinely love this truck. Every wheel and tire setup I have on here, I like to give a good breakdown to y'all so y'all know before y'all buy, hey, it's gonna be like this. So hopefully I have given y'all a lot of insight in this video. I know I've rambled a lot. Hopefully it's not too terribly long where you couldn't watch through, but definitely comment down below and let me know if your truck is similar to this, if you have the same kind of mindset as me, and how you enjoy your truck, and let us know what size wheels and tires you're running. With that being said, hopefully you did enjoy. Comment, like, subscribe, leave some comments down below. Let me know. I'll see y'all in the next one.